Hello everyone, welcome back to the Midweek Escape Artist. My name is Andre and today we are doing topology. That took a few goes to get that right, but guys, I've got a tarp with me, I've got some poles, I've got some lines, some stakes, and I'm going to show you a couple of my favorite tarp setups. Now, I normally camp with some sort of tarp with me, not always, but it's definitely a big part of my camping repertoire. And I think it's very underrated. And if you've not camped with a tarp before, this is the video for you. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you some setups and we're going to have some fun. Cheers, guys. Alright guys, so our first setup is going to be super basic. All it requires is a guy line and 2 pegs. Let's get that done. I've got my ridgeline attached between 2 trees. I've got 1 prusik loop at either end, and we're just going to build a very basic shelter. Super easy to do, and I'm going to be using not theirs but my pegs. So we need a tarp and 2 pegs and 2 sticks, and that's it. So let's get it done. You want to find the front right loop, and we're going to attach that to our prusik. Alright, and there we go, and we're just going to tighten that up. So that's the first step done. I'll show you the tight point. Alright guys, as you can see there, it's literally just a stick through the loop into a prusik which is holding it all together. Super easy, very basic. Making sure everything is nice and taut. And there we go guys, setup number 1. This is super simple, super easy, and it gives you an enormous amount of covered space. Now, you can peg out the back if you wanted to, no worries, but this is kind of the most basic version of this setup. Now, the cool thing about this sort of design is you can set the height as high as you want, as high as you can reach to get your ridgeline up on the tree. That's the height you can set, so you can have it, you know, whichever vertical you like. But under here, you've got quite a lot of space. Now, there's also some tie points on the top, and this one here in the center, you can tie that off to another tree to pull it out even more. Really good. This sort of setup is really good for summer when it's a little warmer outside. Highly recommend that. Very cool. Let's move on. Okay guys, so the next setup I'm going to do is very similar to the previous, but now I'm just going to move the front tie-out point back by a notch, move it up a notch, and now what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip this loose bit of material over the top of the ridgeline. Alright, so that's the first step. Then we're going to peg out the back as we did before. Alright, and now we just need 2 guy lines. Alright, setup number 2. It's very similar to the previous, but now we have this little porch area. This gives us a little bit more protection. Still has ample space behind us, and we can still peg out the back if we needed to, tying out the front and more on the front. But this is a nice sort of little space, really nice. I like this one a lot. There we go. Let's move on to the second. Oh, let's move on to number 3. Guys, let's move on to the third setup for the day, and for this one we're going to need 2 more pegs and 2 more guy lines. So let me grab that quick and we'll get going. And as before, we're just going to step up a notch on this. So now we're on the center line here. There we go. Exactly the same tie-outs as before. Alright guys, here you have it, number 3. I really like this design because it relies heavily on the internal strength of the seam, and obviously your tarp is also resting on a ridge line. Anyway, super easy to do. The further you peg out your corners, the more extreme the wings are going to be, and I think that's really cool, really cool. So if the weather turns bad, you can bring this all down and sort of enclose yourself a little bit. I like this one a lot. Cool, show you the next one. Alright guys, so for number 4 we need 2 poles, 2 extra guy lines, 2 extra pegs. Let's get that going. First off, I'm just going to unravel my through the center loop here. I think we can probably go all the way with this one. There we go. And put my loop through. I like to put my guy line over the top of the loop, just so if the wind is bad, this one's not going to pop off. Take that down and we peg him out. Alright guys, so this is number 4. This is still relying on the ridge line, but man, now you have a very, very large open covered space. This is a nice one. You guys have seen me use this one a lot before, particularly when I hammock camp. I like having my sides open a bit more. I like this one a lot. This is very, very cool. Very easy to do. But this does require the most equipment. It's using all my poles, all my guy lines, and all my pegs. So this is everything. But it's nice. The water is going to sheet off of here really, really well. And because of where the loops are, you can even hang water collection things right at the corner there to collect some water if it's raining. So I think that's brilliant. Alright guys, let me show you the next one. Alright guys, so for the next one, we just have to relocate the corner peg onto the one end right there. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Alright guys, so the tarp is still on the ridge line, and the 2 end corners here I'm just going to connect with a carabiner. You could use a piece of string or whatever you can find lying around. So that's now connected. Now I'm going to do the same on the other side and we'll pull it out. Alright guys, number 5. This one is really nice to put a hammock in there. Now what I would do is I would lower the ridgeline down so that this is sort of as close to the ground as you can get it. Then you're in your own little house. you can close these walls up to a reasonable degree and be quite sheltered from most things. That's quite cool. I like this one. Nice. Let's move on. Alright guys, so for the next one, we're just going to take one of our front corners and attach that to the prusik over here. Exactly the same as we did before, but now we're just using the center point. Alright, and next up we're just going to tie at the fronts. Alright guys, this also is amazing. So they call this the diamond configuration. So instead of attaching along the tarp, you're attaching across the tarp. So you've got two corners pegged out either side. So this one's also amazing for hammocking because you can cover a really long hammock under this, even though it's only a 3 by 3 meter tarp. And you've also got the benefit of having these beautiful sheer walls. Now, there is a lot of space under here, guys. A lot of covered, beautiful, usable space. And you can lower or higher this thing like as much as you want. If you want it closer to the ground, that's totally fine. Lift it up a bit more, totally cool. So yeah, this one's really nice, and also keeping in mind, added benefit of the structural ridgeline on the top to hang stuff from or whatever you need to do. I like this one, and this one requires 2 pegs, 2 guy lines, and a ridgeline. It uses almost no equipment, so it's really great for like lightweight stuff. I like this one. This is cool. All right, let's go again. All right, guys. So for our next one, I'm just going to pull everything as close to this tree as I can get it. Just about there, looks good. And now we've got to drop the other side of the ridgeline. Right guys, so from here all we need to do is find our corners, pull it out, and there we go. So this is the plow point style setup, and as you can tell, you've got a lot of cover, protected cover under here. You can drop that back corner even more if you wanted to get it completely flat to the ground. Yeah, it's a lot of space under there. And once again, you can set the height by as high as you can get up in the tree to attach your ridgeline. You don't have to use a ridgeline with this. You can just do it straight with the tarps tension itself. Yeah, this one's very nice. I like it. Very cool. And like I said, because the slope is so gradual, you can get all the way to the back there with your gear, with your sleeping mats, and you've got a ton of undercover space here. So even with the tarp being up high, you could have a little fire just in front here. I like this one. This one's cool. Nice.